Hey, what's up, guys? Ronin man. Today on Father's Day, I just want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your life in the comment section. Thank you for sharing your life in person, guys I work with, and guys that come to the summit. You know, it's been one of the most meaningful things that I've ever done, meeting you guys, and I wanted to acknowledge that. And that is very, very real. And I get reminded of that all the time. You know, I'll meet somebody new and like we go through, you know, whatever is going on with him. And it's like, you know, it brings me to realize like that the guys who, I guess the guys that are, you know, like very special guys on this channel, and who are honest with themselves and growing and positive and trying to overcome sometimes very, very difficult things. I mean, there's so many reasons, but I gotta say that I'm so grateful for you guys. And I know that Father's Day is not always happy. Sometimes Father's Day, and this can be with any holiday, is that the reality of someone's situation can be very difficult. So on this Father's Day, what I want to say is that I recognize you and your situation, however complex or difficult that may be. Because, you know, often today, guys are just not listened to, not believed. So there's many guys who are called, deadbeat dads who actually would love to be part of their family and have been meticulously extricated or taken out of that situation and blamed for it. So there's so many reasons why Father's Day is bittersweet. One of my classmates, she died. She rolled her car back in 1981, and her father never got over it. Her brother wrote a famous book about it. But, you know, so that there's so many reasons. But, you know, on these holidays, you walk around and everybody's like, Happy Father's Day, you know, or like somebody's like posting, you know, my father was the greatest, you know, guy. And you don't know really how people feel. It's so difficult to know that if somebody is doing it for some other reason. But in reality is that life is always complex. It is always complex. And this is a day for men. Today is a day for men. It's a day for you to think about things, to be honest with yourself, you know, reevaluate where you're at. Think about what, for me, like I was just thinking today, like what is Father's Day for me? And I'm not going to share that today because like I said, this is really about you. But what I went very deep thinking about all the aspects of my life, both from children to parents to family situations. I thought back to when I was in high school, teachers that were somewhat father figures, or they were like mentors, loving characters who helped me. You know, there's so many ways to be essentially a father, you know. And one thing I'm really going to say I don't like is I often hear people say that if they raise a child that is not their child, they're somehow being cucked. And I want to say that there are a lot of children out there. I mean, children did not cause their parents to be their parents. They are just born in this world. They come into this world needing care, needing love. And they don't really have that much to do with their parents. They're just a helpless creature who needs someone to care for them and to love them. And whoever does that, I want to acknowledge that. You know, I know that there was a man in my life, a next door neighbor, who was very, very loving to me, very, very loving, at a time when it meant a lot. And my grandfather on my mother's side, he was incredibly loving, and he was always there for me. You know, as far as I remember, always he took it on himself. You know, and there were father figures in my life besides my genetic family. There were other people. And I know that men often try to help. They see a situation and they try to help. There's a fight, they come and break it up. Or there's a child they see is, it needs some kind of, like help, tying a necktie or, learning how to ride a bike or whatever. And then the men will come in and just kind of give that assistance and teach that thing. And that, I think that is all part of what I'm talking about today. So today on this day, I wanted you to go out and acknowledge somebody, some guy in your life. Somebody, it could be somebody who helped you, was nice to you, but it could also be somebody who had a hard time. So maybe a friend who his children were taken away, or for whatever, whether it was biological or by the courts or whatever situation, is that it's often difficult to talk to people because that the guy's feeling very complex feelings, and so what people do on days like this is they ignore them. They don't say Happy Father's Day because they know that the guy either is going through something difficult or went through something difficult. So they just think, well, I better not say anything. But I don't think that's the way to be. I do not think that's the way to be. I think that listening to men, talking to men on a day like today is a really good idea. Super good idea. And just to say, sometimes no words. I mean, for me, I know this podcast, I talk a lot, but that in my real life, I am much more of a nonverbal person. And I will go up and I'll see somebody in pain and I'll give them a hug, like a real bear hug, and like a loving hug, you know what I mean? Like I'll really show them, because I know that there's so many times where words just don't really, you know what I mean? They don't cover it, for this day. So, yeah, so I'll end on that. I just want to say that, I'm sending out a hug to you guys, and I want to say thank you.